G'day guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I'll be going through Collingwood's fixture for 2024. If you haven't seen my previous video where I went through and basically reacted to the 2024 AFL fixture, go check that out. Yeah, let's jump straight into it. I'll basically be just going through every single round for Collingwood, and only Collingwood. So we have a pretty tough start to the season in opening round, or round 0, if you want to call it that, against GWS on the Saturday night at Giant Stadium, 7:30. Should be a pretty entertaining game. Obviously, rematch of that prelim final, except not at the G, at Giant Stadium. Home ground advantage for the Giants will definitely come in handy for them to start the season. And yeah, it's going to be a tough one for us. Not going to lie, we're going to have a fairly strong side going over to Sydney. Yeah, hopefully we can get the job done, because I'm not actually 100% confident. Obviously, very, very early on, but yeah, hopefully we can get the job done round 0. Moving on to round 1 on a Friday night. We'll be taking on the Swans and unveiling our flag as well. Of course, it played at the MCG 7:40 time slot Friday night. Should be pretty entertaining. Obviously, we're unveiling our flag. Going to be really, really good. I've already got plans to maybe try and go to this game. I've definitely circled this one to try and go to. Yeah, should hopefully get the win. Obviously, it'll be pretty bad blood as well, with Brodie, Grundy and Adams being on the opposition side, and Sydney. And yeah, I don't like Sydney. If you guys aren't aware, I absolutely hate Sydney. So this is going to be a pretty big game for us to start off the year. Also starting off the season against the 2 Sydney teams, which is yeah, interesting. Then the following week, we have a 6-day break, moving on to Thursday night. Round 2, we have the Saints. It's actually a St Kilda home game for this one, but it'll be played at the G, 7:30. Now, this one should be pretty difficult as well, not going to lie. I mean, because it is at the G, it's not really a home game for us, but it is our home ground, really. Home ground advantage should come into play for this one. Not 100% confident that we'll get the job done, but hopefully we do. It's a pretty tough schedule, that's for sure, to start off the year, so it's a must-win game, really. And moving on again, and we get a 7-day break. Moving on to Easter Thursday. We'll be taking on the Lions at the Gabba, 7:30. Big game, this one. Means a lot. Obviously, grand final rematch, except will be played at the Gabba. Obviously, Brisbane home game. They're going to have a lot of fans there. You know that they've got a pretty good record at the moment at the Gabba. They didn't lose a game there in 2023, so it's always going to be difficult going to the Gabba and beating the Lions. But you never know. We could pull off a bit of an upset, but yeah, not 100% obviously certain on that one. Going to be a pretty 50-50 game, I reckon. One of the better games we'll play. Then moving on to Gather Round for round 4, we'll be taking on the Hawks on the Sunday, the final game of Gather Round again, just like in 2023. It'll be at 5:10 PM Victorian time, that is. Yeah, we'll be taking on the Hawks. So that should be, yeah, a good game, because obviously Jack Ginnivan is a Hawk now, and, lots of bad blood there, and, pretty significant game it becomes for us. And I actually think Hawthorn might be a decent side next year, so this isn't even 100% win for us yet. So it is a very, very tough start to the year. And then moving on to the following week, we've got we got the bye. Sorry, round 5, we got the bye with Sydney. Yeah, handy. We get the bye after Gather Round. We don't have to play. Get the week off. Kind of good too. Round 5, just want to mention as a bit of a side note, round 5 looks like one of the worst rounds of the year, not going to lie, with the matchups and all. But anyways, moving on to round 6. Obviously, we've had a bye. We're going to be refreshed, playing in front of our home fans at the G on a Saturday, 1:45 against Port Adelaide. Pretty big game. Port Adelaide, they're going to be really good again next year, you would think. And, we beat them by quite a bit this year at the G. But I don't think it's going to be the same around this time. So, hopefully we can get the job done and, get another win. Then this kind of sucks, this game, because we got a 5-day break. Which is not good at all. But heading into the Anzac Day game as well, it's not good having a 5-day break. I mean, technically we did have the bye, so, you never know. We might not be so fatigued after 5 days, but still it's definitely going to hurt. This will be played on a Thursday, the second game of the round as well, for Anzac Day against the Bombers. Pretty big game, this one. Don't want to lose this one, that's for sure. But it gets even bigger because the following round is round 8 and we'll be playing the Blues on Friday night. So it doesn't get much harder, does it, this schedule at the moment? We've got a very, very, very tough first 8 games. Obviously the bye helps, but yeah, very, very tough. But then it gets a little bit better from here on in until, the round 15 where we I don't have the exact time slots and all that locked in. But we'll be playing West Coast at Marvel for round 9. Sucks that it's at Marvel. It's like a standalone Sunday game, I believe, or there's 1 or 2 games on that Sunday. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Interesting, but probably a pretty boring game. No one's going to tune in unless you're a Collingwood or maybe a West Coast fan. I'm not even that confident that we're going to beat them by a lot because it's at Marvel. We're shit at Marvel, and it's West Coast. It's West Coast. They're always, I guess our bit of a bogey club. Then the following week we got a 6-day break heading into the round 10 game against the Crows at the G. Thankfully, we only have to play them once this year, but I'm expecting this to be probably the closest game we do play. Adelaide, I assume, will be really, really good next year and definitely a big threat to our chances of going back-to-back. In terms of premierships. So this is a pretty important game as well, pretty significant. Obviously, at this point, we don't know what our injury list is going to look like as well, so that could come into factor for some of these games. Now, I'm not looking forward to this game as well. We got a 6-day break heading into the Friday night late game at 8:10, being at Optus. This is Victorian time, of course, against Freo. So, we played 2 of the WA teams in 3 weeks here in Freo. I'm not even that confident we're going to win this game. In fact, I'm not at all that confident. Freo, there's just something about them. I guess it's probably just because I've only watched like 1 game where we versed Freo that I can really remember. And that was this year. So not really looking forward to that, but it'll be an interesting game, that's for sure. Then we got a 7-day break, which is nice, playing on the road against Freo. That's somewhat hard, so heading into round 12 will be a little bit, not as fatigued, I guess, as if we had a 6 to 5 day break. We'll be playing the Bulldogs at Marvel Friday night, another Friday night game. We get a lot of Friday night games here that I can count already. We've had around 4, maybe 5, so that's quite a bit to start the year off. Moving on to round 13, which is, of course, King's birthday round, so we'll be playing the final game of that round on the King's birthday against the D's. Obviously a pretty significant game as well, and definitely one you do not want to lose as well. It'd be nice to get the job done over the D's. We've had the wood over them recently. Mind you, we did lose to them last year in this King's birthday game, so hopefully we don't lose again. Then moving on to round 14, we get a nice, a not nice 6-day break for this one. I don't know why I said nice, but thankfully we're playing North, so it should be okay. But it's at Marvel, so we could be doomed. It's not very fair, is it, that we have to play the, no offence, but like in my opinion, 2 shittest clubs at Marvel, because we're really, really bad at Marvel. It sucks. But we still should win, hopefully. Hopefully. It'll be played at Marvel, of course, 1 o'clock Sunday. Yeah, pretty boring game. Not too many people going to tune in. And then from here on in, all the time slots and days and, dates and all that stuff is, TBC. So we only know who we're playing and where it's going to be. Round 16, we're going to be playing Gold Coast in Gold Coast, which is pretty tough. No one really wants to be playing Gold Coast, and Gold Coast, they're going to be pretty good up there. Gold Coast actually have the easiest fixture, in my opinion, as well. So, yeah, that doesn't help. That they could be in some good form, and they could be confident. I do believe they've had a pretty fairly easy run to the season, so early run, that is. So, they could be in good form, could have some confidence heading to this game. Definitely not one you want to be losing. Round 17, we play the Bombers again. This is a 10-round break since we last played them, so 10 weeks on from the Anzac Day game, we'll be playing them again. And, certainly one you don't want to be losing either. Lots of our games are pretty big, aren't they? Obviously, seeing we won the grand final, we're going to have not only a hard fixture, but it's going to be, pretty significant, all our games, and most of them are, to be honest, not going to lie. Then round 18, we played the Cats, another pretty big game. First time we played the Cats all year as well will be in round 18, that late. Obviously at the G, this one, hopefully we get the win. I pray, I hope, because, losing to Geelong is just the worst. Round 19 as well, we got Hawthorn, so another pretty big Victorian club, that's 3 in a row. And certainly another one you don't want to be losing. And it gets worse because the following week, round 20, we play Richmond for the first time. I hadn't played them all year. I mean, who knows what Richmond are going to be like next year. I personally don't think they're going to be very good. So hopefully we get the win. Let's hope. At the G, it could be nerve-wracking. It's another big Victorian club in a row. That's 4 now. So, it's a tough end to this season, that's for sure. Then we play the Blues the following week, so it's another Victorian club. It's ridiculous. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. That's ridiculous. At the G, obviously one you don't want to be losing either. Round 21. And then the final 3 games to end off the year are all big as well. So, what an end to the year. We're playing 8 big games, or 9 really, if you include the game against Gold Coast. So they're all big games to end off the year. We've got a tough second half to the fixture, that's for sure, because we play Sydney at the SCG, which sort of sucks, because Sydney at the SCG is a bit of a hoodoo for us at the moment. One we haven't really been able to break in a little while. Not since 2020, I don't think. So hopefully we can get the job done. I don't know how we would, but it'd be nice, that's for sure. Round 23, we got the Lions at the G, finally, in the home and away season. Grand final rematch. Should be a ripper. Definitely try and go to this, of course. Probably go to maybe 3 to 5, maybe, Collingwood games next year, I reckon. This one is probably almost a lock, I want to say. Now, round 24, we play the D's to end off the year. Final game before finals, if we make it, that is. D's at the G. Going to be, interesting. Probably fairly tough, but we've got a pretty hard fixture there. I mean, our last 9 games are all hard, but when you look at them, they're all at the G. We got Essendon at the G, home game, Geelong at the G, home game, Hawthorn away, but it's at the G anyways. We got Richmond at the G, Carlton at the G, Sydney at the SCG, and then we play Brisbane at the G, home game, and Melbourne away at the G. So they're all pretty much at the G, except for the Sydney game. So 7 out of our last 8 games will be played at the MCG. Wow. That's a fantastic... I really, really like that. I really like our fixture. The fact that we're playing at the G, we're always really good at the G. And you got to be, So we'll have great practice heading into our finals, playing at the G. All against clubs that I think will be very good next year, or at least somewhat difficult to play. yeah, we basically we got to start strong next year, and then we can maybe afford to drop a couple of the later games. Because Gold Coast is pretty hard as well. So that's 9 pretty tough games. Yeah, and we basically play all the teams that are either going to be mid or maybe not so good. That's my opinion. That at least at the start of next year or in the middle parts of next year. So we've definitely got an easy run in the middle part of our fixture. It's a hard start and end to the year, that's for sure. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed my Collingwood fixture breakdown. Yeah, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.